Paris. Paris. So, have you ever seen Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
Okay, so in Pulp Fiction, Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta are talking to each other. And they are driving. This is like the opening of the movie. And not the opening, it's near the opening.
Mm-hmm.
And John Travolta says to Samuel L. Jackson, "Do you know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Europe?" And Samuel L. Jackson was like, "It's not double quarter pounder with cheese?"
Yeah.
He's like, "No, because on the metric system, it's a Royale with cheese."
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case.
Oh.
They changed it because of the movie.
What?
I'm pretty sure that's what I read. Like I'm 90% sure that's what I read. Like
So
it wasn't that, and then
what do they
that
call
movie
it?
came out. It's the Royale with cheese now.
Oh.
Like because we were in Paris, and we were at the Louvre, and me and my friends were like, okay, we can go get food from one of these random restaurants in French that we don't know what we're ordering, and we have 20 minutes, or we could just go get McDonald's because it's right there. We know what we're getting. We've already been eating like French food. That's not like this is our only chance to have French food.
Yeah.
Like at this point, we were just kind of like, we kind of want something familiar.
Sure.
And so we walk up to the counter, and it's like, I don't know any of these items except for the Big Mac.
Yeah.
Because all of them were changed.
Yeah.
And it was the Royale with cheese. And that's
Nice.
and that's what I always get. I always get the double quarter pounder with cheese. Not anymore. Now I get like I realize that's so much more expensive than just getting like the McDouble, which is like $1.
Yeah.
Which nobody admits that they have McDonald's, but I'll admit I eat it every once in a while.
Sure.
I'm ashamed of myself, but that's okay. So we get up to the counter, and I had no idea that's what the double quarter pounder with cheese was.
Yeah.
But I got a Big Mac. And it tasted better, probably because of the placebo effect, but who knows?
Oh, I'm in Paris.
France Big Mac.
Yeah.
I've had like 2 Big Macs in my life, and one was in Paris. So
Was that one the better Big Mac?
yeah, it did. I remember it tasting better. The soda tasted better in Europe because they don't use aspartame. They use like real sugar.
Yeah.
Because
That
they
makes
have
sense.
like some regulation against it.
Yeah.
And so it actually tastes better.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean that also says a whole lot about like the amount of crap that we put into our food here. So
yeah. I don't want to think about how horrible my food is. Like, this sounds horrible. I have a theory that
hypothesis.
I have a hypothesis that the reason people in like America today get so sick and have all these like systemic diseases is because of what's in our food.
Yeah.
Like the preservative. Like I'm not like I don't eat GMOs and I'm all natural kind of person, but like my mom
You just said you ate at McDonald's.
Right, exactly. My mom is celiac though, so she has to eat gluten free.
Yeah.
And this is an intolerance that was built.
Yeah.
And so like what caused that?
Yeah.
Was it eating white bread that has all these chemicals in it for a long time and it like built this tolerance for it? But then my brother's girlfriend, who's 25, she has celiac as well.
Yeah.
So it took this.
Yeah. No, I know a few people who.
Right. And it's like
celiac.
celiac has definitely been popping up. Like we didn't used to think it was like a whole thing. And now it's just like, oh, there's a lot of people that have this.
Yeah.
And I thought we were going to find more. And like cancer is a horrible disease that's really within the 20th and the 21st century.
Yeah.
Like it existed before, but it blew up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have diseases like AIDS and things like that.
I mean, I do also think that part of it does come from like if we have an advancement in technology that allows us to see a lot better, then we're able to see a lot of the stuff that we weren't seeing before. And so it's like maybe back in the day, like people like died of cancer a whole lot more, but like we just didn't really know about it. And so it's like cause of death. Well, they like got the flu and died or whatever. So like, okay, well, they had the flu, but maybe they were immunocompromised because of something else,
Okay,
but we
yeah.
never really knew about it.
So that's a good point. I've never thought about that. But this is seriously a thought that I've had before, like while driving, just been
Yeah.
like, along with the thought of teleportation, which is something that I do think about at least once a week.
Yeah.
And I've definitely thought about like what is causing all of these diseases and these like physical ailments in our world today.
Are you familiar with the hygiene hypothesis?
No.
So the hygiene hypothesis is sort of this medical idea that a lot of the reason as to why people get sick so much, even though like medical technology is so much better than it's ever been, is that because we know about hygiene, and so it's like, oh, everybody use Purell and everybody wash your hands and everybody like it's like cool, you're killing all the stuff, but you're also not letting your immune system like
Fight it off.
fight it off. And so,
Okay.
you know, sometimes it's kind of good to eat dirt as a kid because
Right.
then whenever you like touch something gross and it ends up in your mouth, like
Right.
your body's like, I've seen this before. Get out of here.
Was it Dwight Schrute that did that in The Office at one point? Where
I
he was
haven't
going
watched The
around like
Office,
licking the
unfortunately.
urinals. I think it was Dwight, or he was like going around like people like were sick. He was like cough in my mouth, and in fact, I know it was Dwight. He was like walking around like touching everything, like trying to contract all the diseases
Yeah.
so that he would be immune to all the diseases.
Yeah.
Which no, that makes 100% sense. Like,
Yeah.
oh, wash your hands. Like, or you could get sick once and not get sick with that again.
Yeah. And I mean, it makes sense in a hospital because like these people are already sick. So it's like, yeah, wash your hands literally all the time, use Perel literally all the time. Like
Right.
these are the sickest people. If, you know, you get one of their sickest things into you, then you're going to get a sickest thing. Or, you know, a lot of these people are really like ill. And so if you get them sick, then they're really screwed.
And then this is called an outbreak.
Yeah.
So, but it's like teachers. Teachers have an immunity that they build up. That's why like the first and second year of like people who are new teachers
Yeah.
are
They're just
sick all the time. It's because they're building up their immunity. And then by the time that they're later in life, it's like some kid has the flu. They're not afraid of it because they've had it 25 different times.
Exactly.
But they built up an immunity to it. So
And so, like, I do like, I don't know if I've like always been a germaphobe or like I've always like felt it. You know when you I don't know if everyone else has this, but like I'll like touch something like that's kind of like gross and I'll like feel it on my hand. Like, and I'll just keep thinking about it on my hand
yeah, I do that.
until I wash my hands.
Yep, I do that.
Like yesterday we went to like a bunch of different Goodwills.
Right. Oh, do you feel like you need a shower after that?
Yeah, it's just like I have like touched all of these dirty clothes.
Right. Because they're not washing that stuff.
No, they probably just like spray it with like window cleaner or something.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
no, I was.
so I'm not. Ugh.
Yeah, there's a. I bought a camera from Salvation Army a few days ago, and it like it's definitely been smoked around for a long time, and so it just has that like gross feel to it.
Yeah.
That like brown dirt that's not dirt, but it's just brown dust.
Yeah.
And so I've been meaning to get like a Q-tip out with like some alcohol and just like swab it down. But yeah, I definitely know what you mean. Like you touch something gross and it's just like that's now on my
You like
hand.
feel it on your hand
And then-
until you wash your hands.
Right. Right. Or what's gross. Okay, so this happens in live sound a lot. The cables get dusty.
Yeah.
And so after you've been running front of house like for a concert, your hands are just covered in black dust.
Yeah.
Because you've been like touching cables and grabbing mic stands and grabbing mics. 'Cause
Yeah.
that stuff is gross.
Yeah.
Like microphones are gross, people. They're gross.
Well, no, I mean like if it's, you know, just a community microphone,
Right.
like everyone is spitting into this thing.
yeah, no, they're just yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like some of the grossest microphones are church microphones.
Yeah.
And we still keep a bottle of Clorox wipes in
There
the
you go.
back. because sometimes people walk up and be like, this smells like coffee breath. It's like the microphone does. It's like, that's disgusting. Let me just wipe that down for you.
I'll like, I don't know if you've been doing sound for me whenever I've done it, but like there are times where if I'm like singing or something and I'll like accidentally touch it, like I'll flinch.
Yeah.
And I'll I'll like recoil because like I just touched it.
I just touched it. Gross. I don't think I've seen you do that, but I've definitely like, that's something that's on my mind. And that's why, it's partly why I want my own microphone.
Yeah.
If I'm going to do something with a mic, I'm going to bring my own microphone because it's like, I can put my mouth on my mic.
Yeah.
That probably sounded horrible, but
That's fine.
and that's my microphone.
Yeah.
Nobody else puts their mouth on it. So it's fine.
Yeah. I don't know why more artists don't do that.
Right.
Like,
Also, it's like, if you're, for one, an artist should find the microphone that sounds good with their voice,
Yes.
and they should take it everywhere.
yeah.
Because Justin Timberlake, so whenever he tours, he has a Telefunken head that goes on a Shure Beta wireless microphone body, and that is ran to a Neve mic pre that goes through an SSL compressor.
That is real specific.
Yes, but he can take that anywhere in the world,
And he will always sound like Justin
the
Timberlake.
same.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. And he has like 3, and they're all like silver microphones. His like chain, his signal chain could have changed since then, because this is an older. That was an older.
What, tape hop or something?
No. What was it? It was a production profile that I read. Actually, it wasn't very old. It was like a year or 2 ago, but it might have changed. But still, like most people like that tour with their microphone that sounds good with their voice.
Yeah.
And the mic pre and the compressor that sounds good with their stuff.
Although I do feel that like a lot of times, like especially for me with microphones and stuff, it's like I'll develop a preference, not necessarily because it sounds better, because like sometimes it's just like I sang better that time and it just sounds good. But like I'll develop a preference just out of like, because I had that one good thing about it. And it may not even be like the best one for me. It's just the one that I like. And so it's just, I'll develop this preference for it.
Right,
and I feel like that might be what it is. Like a lot of the time that it's just like artists who like, I can only sing into this, this, into this.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, that's just because you had like Rick Rubin produce that.
Right.
So it's like,
you can sing into a $50,000 mic because he had a $50,000 mic. No, this is the one I'm using is a Shure SM7B, and anybody who talks to me about any sort of production stuff, I will mention this microphone because I love it that much.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend actually jokes that the only thing that could come between her is wings and this microphone.
Okay.
Just because it just sounds so good.
Yeah.
This microphone, it does, and it's super versatile, and you can use it for a live setting, you can use it for a studio setting, and it's great.
And it's great for podcasts.
It's great for podcasts. It's known as like the podcast mic.
Yeah.
Like if you see a video podcast, typically they all have like 5 or 6 of these.
Yeah. Joe Rogan has either that or the Electro Voice RE20.
Yeah, yeah. Which is funny because that's also like an incredible kick drum mic.
Really?
Yeah. That one, and then the Shure Beta 91.
Yeah. I wonder how many people we've lost. Like just like there is so much jargon going on here. I have no idea what's going on.
It's just like, so to eliminate some of the jargon, there's this microphone that's designed for conference rooms, like Fortune 500 companies that have the big table. It's this flat microphone that you set on the table. Yeah. And everybody just talks, and you sound great. You plug it into the phone, and so you can have like teleconferences and stuff. Sure. Well, this microphone also works amazing in a kick drum. Like you literally just set it inside the kick drum.
That's cool.
And it has a frequency response that's pretty flat. There's no like hyped up stuff. So like the low end stuff is super natural, and
Yeah.
like the high end stuff is still there.
Yeah.
So it just sounds like you're sticking your head inside the kick drum,
Yeah.
and then you do whatever you want to it, and it sounds great. I love it.
Uh, I've always had this like discrepancy with gear. It's just that like one, I'm poor, and so I'm not going to
Me
like.
too.
So like a lot of the people at school are like, "Oh my gosh, you got to get this piece of gear and this piece of gear and this piece of gear." And it's
Yeah.
like that is my entire like worth.
Right, exactly. Like the stuff I've bought has taken me multiple years to buy
Yeah.
because I'm just like slowly buying pieces of gear.
Yeah.
Because like first thing I bought was monitors.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing I bought was like, okay, I need a nicer computer that can actually run Pro Tools
Yeah.
and not freeze every 30 seconds. I need to be able to listen to the song all the way through. So I bought that. And I was like, because sometimes I need a microphone too. Like
Yeah.
a good microphone. And so like those are my three like gear pieces that I have.
Yeah.
And all the other stuff that I have I either like collected or I got at Salvation Army or I got at a garage sale. Like people don't know what it is, and you're like, I know what this is. I'm gonna buy it for this
Yeah.
much money. And so, but yeah,
No, it's just because like one, I didn't like grow up in that. Like,
Right.
yeah, there's a lot of people who have been around gear their whole life, and so it's like, oh man, like this piece of gear though.
right,
But for me, it's just like I play video games and I do music, and so it's like I'll enjoy the software version of that thing, and that costs a fraction of the amount, or like
exactly,
I have a free EQ that I use on everything.
Exactly.
and will be used on this podcast.
What EQ is it?
It's like the Melda production.
Never heard of it.
They make plugins, but they have a free effects bundle, and it's like if you're just starting out, like producing or engineering or whatever, like it has everything. Like
Nice.
there's an EQ, there's a limiter, there's a compressor, and the EQ isn't like some like random bands. It's like 6 bands that are fully parametric and it has an analyzer and it has like a listen function. So it's like it's really good.
Sounds like it's like Fab Filter's
Yeah.
Pro Q2.
I mean, it's not quite Fab Filter, but
Right. Like that's the only Fab Filter plugin that I have is just the EQ.
that's
Just
all
because.
like you can do everything with it.
Right. Right. You could probably use it as a delay. I just haven't figured it out yet. But like, so Kevin's plugin class that we were in together, like that reminded me of how much money I don't have to spend on gear.
Exactly.
Because I was like, oh, this plugin's great. This plugin's great. This plugin's great. It's like, well, that's $7,000 worth of plugins right there. And I don't have $7,000 to spend on plugins.
And again, to the people that have no idea what this jargon is, music stuff costs a lot of money.
It costs so much money.
And I'm sure most people are just like, I don't want to pay $1 for this game on my phone. Gross.
Right.
Because like that's kind of the perception that we have of software, is that it's like it's infinite, so it's free.
Yep.
And so like whenever you look at why would I pay like 99 cents to like continue playing Candy Crush or something? But at the same time, a lot of people had to work on that, make it like look nice, sound nice, and not break whenever you use it. And so it's like, I guess I'll pay $500 for these plugins. Gosh dang it.
Yeah, it's like I don't know how much money I've actually spent on software, but I know I've spent over $1,000 on software just because like Pro Tools, Ableton, plugins. Then on top of like all my video software, so I've got like triple software that I have to buy. Because I gotta pay for Photoshop, Illustrator, and I gotta pay for After Effects and Premiere Pro, which that's a monthly subscription. Thanks Adobe.
I hate monthly subscriptions.
That was
those
the
things.
first one that I subscribed to, and It was $20 at first, and then it went up to $30, and it's been $30 for the past 2 years. But I subscribed to it whenever I was in like high school.
Yeah.
And so I got like a high school discount. Then I think the college discount was more expensive, which is why it went up. But yeah, subscription softwares are kind of the worst.
Because I think that, if I buy a guitar,
Mm-hmm.
I own that guitar now.
Mm-hmm.
This is my guitar. Someone else made it. They put their work into it. That's fine. But I bought that guitar. It's mine now. Cool. I have Pro Tools 11, and it's just mine, and I have it.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any updates for it. It's just the way it is.
Right.
It's fine. It's mine. I don't have to pay for it anymore.
Exactly. I was talking to somebody, and I was talking to like another student at ACM this weekend. I was running a show at the ACM venue, and he was like shadowing me, and he said, "Hey, do you know if like Pro Tools is $30 a month, or what am I paying for?" I was like, "I don't think it's $30 a month for the subscription."
Yeah.
I was like, "You probably put it on credit." And he was like, "'Cause I only have to pay $30 a month for a year, and then it's mine." I was like, "Well, yeah, that's credit. Like you're paying it off." He was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then you're talking about something else, and he was like, "Yeah, I just don't really want to subscribe to Pro Tools." And at the same time, I don't either.
Yeah.
But then also, I think it's like what, $15 a month?
It adds up though.
I know it in the long run, it's way more expensive than just buying it because you're constantly paying for it, but you're also constantly updating.
Yeah.
So like, they're on 12.7 now, I think, but I'm on 12.5 because I bought Pro Tools 12 when it came out, and I had a year worth of perpetual updates, or it was a perpetual with 1 year of updates. And so now I have to pay like, I think $100 to update, to have another year worth of updates. I don't want to drop $100 on that yet. Like if Avid's getting any more of my money, it's to buy an HDIO. But I don't know if I'll ever buy one of those.
Yeah. I just think that like certain subscriptions are fine because like Netflix, watch everything.
Spotify.
Yeah. I don't have Spotify. I mean, I don't know if I can get like sued for whatever, but like you can use Spotify on the browser with an ad blocker.
Yeah, it's definitely hacking the system.
They haven't done anything about it.
You told me about that. Yeah. Well, because I don't think they do a lot of development for their web browser because they just expect you to download the app.
Well, because a lot of times it's pretty broken. Like sometimes it just doesn't work.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
but just saying, you could just not pay for Spotify, and if you're using it on the web browser, have an ad blocker. Yeah,
that's fair. I pay for it like a chump, but yeah, I pay for it.
And then there's like, because now everyone's coming out with subscriptions.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's like, okay, now you got to have Netflix, you got to have Hulu, you got to have Spotify, you got to have HBO.
They're all different packages.
Then if you watch anime, you can do Crunchyroll, but then there's also Funimation. If you there's also just like subscription boxes.
Then you have YouTube Red.
Oh yeah, YouTube Red.
Which I don't know why I pay for that, but I definitely do.
So that you can close the app and still listen.
That's what I did. That's one time I was watching a video. It was like, I need this to be a podcast because I was going for a run, but I still wanted to listen to it because it was like an hour long.
Yeah.
And so I closed the app, or I locked my phone.
And it paused.
Or I subscribed to YouTube Red. It was like, a button there for it.
Of course.
Because I think I locked my phone and it paused it, and YouTube sent me a notification like to my home screen that was like, listen while you work. Subscribe to YouTube Red. I was like, wow. Open it up, subscribe to it, and I haven't unsubscribed to it. And I forget about it until I get this $12. It's more expensive.
For YouTube.
It's more expensive than Netflix.
Yeah.
And it's more expensive than Spotify. Not combined, but almost.
Yeah.
Because that's $14. Because Spotify is $5 and Netflix is like $8.
Yeah.
So yeah, almost as much as them both combined.
Netflix could be $20 and I would still do it.
Yeah. Easy. And people would pay for it. I think I'd pay for it if it was $20 a month.
Yeah.
Just because that's still cheaper than TV.
And Netflix is already rolling in the dough. Like,
right. And I actually use Hulu more than I use Netflix. Just because Hulu has next day TV, which is what I like. And I pay for the no ad version because I cannot stand ads.
Yeah, I can't either.
That's why you have an ad blocker. Yeah, you use Spotify like that. Like if I download an app and it's like 50 cents, 99 cents to remove the ads, I'm giving them my 99 cents. I'm like, if I'm going to be using this app for more than, if I'm going to constantly be using this app, I am not going to constantly be looking at ads. I cannot stand ads.
Yeah.
Here's my philosophy on ads. Ads are the manufacturer or the corporation's way of interjecting themselves unwelcomely into your life.
Yeah.
Like that's why I hate live TV, is because you have now interrupted my time and you are taking my time, which is precious.
Yeah.
Time is the most expensive currency. And you are stealing it from me by telling me about your stupid product that I don't want to buy.
Yeah.
Therefore, that's why I like Netflix and I like Hulu, because I am watching what I'm intending to watch.
Exactly.
With no interruptions.
Yeah.
And then I move on with my day.
Yeah.
I get a little frustrated even with Hulu because there's the network logo that pops up before the program because like there's an agreement with the networks.
Yeah.
So if you're watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the FXX logo comes in, it's like
yeah.
Then the show starts.
Yeah.
It only happens like once if you like every time you start the show, it happens one time. It doesn't do it every episode. But it's still kind of like you're still throwing your logo up on my screen. I don't appreciate that.
Those are 5 seconds I could have saved. Come on, guys.
Yeah. I'm going to start penny a second. Penny a second would be pretty expensive.
Ah, jeez.
60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour.
Yeah.
It's like $12.
Yeah, that's fine.
Then a minimum wage is less than a penny a second?
Sure.
I got to find this out. I got to figure out this math. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
No, I mean, but either way, like, I still don't think well, I kind of wonder about the generations after us. So like we sort of grew up with TV with commercials and we were just like, we just be able to check out like
mentally.
And just whatever.
Like typically at my house, like TV goes on mute whenever commercials come on. Like,
that's how much commercials are hated.
Yeah, like we hate commercials that much, like TV goes on mute.
But so I mean, if we hate advertisements this much, but we can get rid of them, like, how much do you think, like, the generation after us just absolutely hates? Like, just because their entire lives has been optional. So, I mean, like, I get really frustrated whenever a YouTube ad comes up. It won't come up on my computer.
Right.
But if I'm like using like the Xbox app or the like
it comes up.
Someone else's phone or something, it's like, oh gosh,
right.
I hate everything right now. My existence is pain.
Exactly, because it's just like this corporation is now in my life.
Even if it's a product that I like, I'm still just like, I hate
cookies
you
are a
so
thing,
much,
which are freaky. Cookies are a little weird. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I'll remind me to talk about that here in a sec. But if it's optional for us, or if it's become optional for us, like, how much do, like, I don't know, 10-year-olds now just absolutely like, why is this happening right now? I hate everything.
Yeah. And it's already, that's an interesting way to look at it. Because, like, I know how much I hate ads.
Yeah.
Just completely despise them. And it's funny because so there's this YouTuber, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. His name is Gary Vaynerchuk.
I think so. I've never seen him.
He's like this motivational lifestyle, like get your act together kind of guy.
Sure.
Very brass, very like upfront about like how hard he works, because he worked his butt off for what he has.
Yeah.
But he was talking about how in today's age he actually gets angry when someone calls him versus texts him, because it's someone saying, my time is more important than your time, so I'm going to interrupt whatever you're doing for your attention right now. Whenever a text could just be, hey, this, and then I can reply whenever.
Yeah, yeah. And look at this at your own leisure, but it's here.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's funny because like time is becoming more and more expensive these days. In our world, because there's so many things that are trying to get our attention with our phones, like having so many notifications. Like on my phone, I am super selective of what has notifications to my, like, because I have an Apple Watch, so I'm not sponsored and whatever, but which I guess I'm literally a walking ad all the time because I have the brands on me that I have.
Hashtag ad.
Yeah, great. No, I'm sad, but but I'm super selective of the notifications that go to my phone and my watch and my computer, because if you just let everything in, you have so many apps that's just like constantly bing, 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 bing. It'll drive you crazy.
Yeah. Wait, did you figure it out how, like?
Oh, yeah. So it'd be 36,000 pennies divided by
100.
Yeah. Wait, why 100?
Pennies to dollars.
Oh, yeah. So it'd be $36 an hour if you were paid a penny a second.
Okay. Well,
that's sad.
Yeah.
That means
your seconds are not even worth.
No, not even worth a penny.
A penny.
Which I guess
they're at least worth a dime.
No.
Nope.
That's way more.
Goes the opposite. Yeah.
That's like
your time is not worth a dime.
$360 an hour.
Yeah. So you can literally say your time is not worth a dime.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Or like penny for your thoughts. It's a pretty expensive penny. That's a pretty expensive thought.
Yeah.
More like,
time is literally money.
No, yeah. And that's kind of like what my brain has been.
Not literally,
but sort of, especially within like my work. Like I do contract work, so I work hourly. So sometimes time literally is money.
Yeah.
And so yeah, time is like really big in my head. Like how I spend my time and what I do. So if someone wastes my time, I get very frustrated.
Yeah.
It's like, don't waste my time.
Yeah. But going back to like cookies.
Okay, going back to cookies.
Like a little gradual thing. So on your message app on your phone, if you type "my birthday is" on the little like suggested thing, it will say your birthday.
Yep.
That's a little creepy.
It's a little creepy.
If you say "I am at," it would allow you to tap and send your location.
Current location, yeah.
That is more creepy.
Yeah.
The Facebook Messenger app.
That one freaks me out.
Yeah, so I sent a friend a happy birthday message. And the like sticker suggestions like said like thank you or that's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
And then so I don't know if this was like intentional or not, but it seems really suspect. and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but so the other day I received a text from my friend John. Hi, John. I don't know if he listens to this.
Hi, Mark.
But I haven't talked to him in a while.
Okay.
Like, we don't text each other, and because he lives in the Ozarks.
That's
and so
place to live.
And so he texts me, not in the mountains, but like
Around
he goes to the Ozark Christian College or something like that.
Ozark water would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag ad. So he sends me a text asking about something. And that's fine, and I haven't talked to him in a while. But on Facebook Messenger, entirely different app and thing or whatever. You know how like on the side it'll show you like people who you've recently talked to or whatever. Like they'll go up to the top.
Like the people online that you normally
interact with. His name was moved to the top.
That's weird. So in a separate service, like it moved. I don't know how that works. I know data mining is a serious thing. Because like Google data mines.
Yeah.
So do you use Google Now for anything?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so Google Now, because I use the Google search app on my phone. I don't like using the Safari browser. I just use it, but I don't like how it opens a tab and keeps it there. Like whenever I close it, I want it to close out what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so that's why I use the Google search app, because once I'm done and I close it, it closes out the search. I can go back and pull it up later, because it like keeps the history of it, and it's super easy to get to the history, but it closes it. Therefore, it's not like holding processes on my phone. Well, Google has a service called Google Now. What it does is it looks at your email, it looks at your social media, it looks at your location and what's around you and your weather. I can pull it up right now.
Yeah.
And it gives you notifications that you think things you'd be interested in. So whenever I have a delivery and I get the confirmation email from Amazon that my delivery is on its way, Google will say the top thing will be blah, 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 blah. Also, your package is here. Like it will look at the tracking number, associate with like UPS, get back with the location and show it right there in Google's own interface. It won't be like a plugin through UPS, like a link to their site. Like it's a total different thing. And I'm looking at it now, and it knows that I constantly look up music gear. So I have a thing from Pro Tools Expert, which a site I've never been to. It says, is this what the Apple Mac Pro modular will look like? Because it knows that I subscribe to tech videos on YouTube.
Ah, jeez.
Because it connects to YouTube. And then it's like, Sonic State is like, dude, where's my mixer? So it's got all these articles about all this stuff that I'm interested in that I have never told Google that I'm interested in this. It just knows that I am.
Yeah.
And data mining is a real thing. And it's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
But it's also cool. Because like I can pull up on my phone, I can see where all of my family members are.
Yeah.
And that's creepy, but it's kind of like, oh, I can't get a hold of them. Are they okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, they're fine.
Sure.
They're just here. They're just not answering their phone. Because my parents used to do that. Like, my parents used to be like, they'd be like, all right, whenever you get here, text us, because I'd be like 16, and they'd want to make sure I was okay.
Yeah.
And so they would have me text them. But if I forget, they just look up my location and be like, okay, he's fine. He just text us.
Yeah.
So the whole like send my current location, it's creepy, but it's convenient. Like,
Yeah.
At what point do we sacrifice our privacy for our convenience?
Yes. It's privacy versus convenience, and then privacy versus security.
Right.
And I mean, it gets really scary. I mean, like, did you ever take digital media? Are you going to take digital media?
Yeah. I think I did. Digital
George
media.
Lang.
Oh, no, I haven't taken it yet.
He was on the podcast.
I haven't taken it yet.
Your brother took it.
That's right.
But we kind of talked about this in the class about how like privacy, and there kind of is no more privacy.
I agree. I would agree with that.
Like all of your passwords are somewhere and someone can reach them really easily.
Oh yeah.
Like really easily. Someone can take your phone and take all your money.
My bank
really
account was hacked
easily.
like 2 months ago
Yeah.
through my PayPal,
So like
which is ironically designed to protect you, but
there is no privacy. So I've long accepted that that okay, well, everything I do is somewhere.
yeah.
But to what extent, like, do people know about it, and are they comfortable with it? Like, it's not even so much that I'm comfortable with it. It's more that just like it's inevitable, and I can't really do anything about it. But if enough people are uncomfortable about it, they're willing to do something about it.
Right.
The difference is that this is where it gets like hyper political and stuff like that. But like, these corporations have people in their pocket that write laws that allow them to continue to do these really,
Lobbyists that
yeah.
the terms and condition lobbyists is what I would call them.
Yeah. And same with like earlier we were talking about like preservatives and food. It's the same thing. But I mean, we've even still done so with like the government. And so in order to prevent terrorism, we have, you know, everyone's phone is tapped, everyone's emails are being looked at. And congratulations to the NSA agent that gets to listen to this podcast.
Yeah. Hello. Glad you're here. Glad
I hope you're enjoying your job.
I wonder if he's read, or she, or they, whoever, has read my text messages. Because occasionally I'll say, like if me and Emily are texting, I'll just throw in like I hope this is interesting for the NSA.
Yeah.
Like this could be really boring for the NSA.
Yeah.
And so we'll joke around about it. So sometimes when I'm texting people, I just say, like, just a little shout out to the NSA. People, sometimes people think my joke is funny. Sometimes they're like, that's a stupid joke. Why did you make that joke? I'm like, well, I think it's funny, so I stand by it. So.
Sure.
And it's true.
Yeah.
They are reading it.
I also think that potentially, like, the people around me are on this, like, gray list. Because, you know, I have talked about how I don't think that the government or just having any government is good. And so, you know, for people around me that associate with me, you know, I probably like, oh, look, this guy might be planning to overthrow the government.
Yeah,
and then
somehow.
his friends are now associated with trying to overthrow the government.
Right.
Yay. How much privacy are you willing to sacrifice for security?
I 100% agree that I have zero privacy already. Like, I have sometimes have to go through like 2 or 3 steps to make sure like a photo that I took that I don't like, not even like an embarrassing photo or anything like that. Just like, like I took a picture with my phone and then I double tapped the shutter and there's like one blurry one because I was moving my phone.
Yeah.
It's like I have to delete that, then I have to go to my photo stream and delete that, then I have to go to my computer's photo stream and delete that. It's just like,
jeez,
like things get backed up so easily.
Yeah.
In fact, I was clearing out my MacBook one time, and I have this utility on my computer called Disk X, and it scans your whole computer, and it tells you what every part of your hard drive is being used for, and it shows you in blocks.
Okay.
And I realized I found a block. Like I would clear my computer, and it's like, why do I still have so much like little space left?
Yeah.
Like there's nothing on here.
Yeah.
I realized it was blocks of my conversations because I have my messages synced up with my computers. And it was literally the backups of every conversation, every text message I'd ever had for 3 years. And it was like 8 gigabytes. It had every picture, everything. And I was just like, delete that. And I was like, wait, this is a system thing. You sure you want to delete this? Yes.
Yeah.
I already deleted these things.
Yeah.
I don't still need them.
Yeah.
So please get rid of them.
Yeah.
And then I've realized, and that's when I realized that there's like layers of backups on our computers already.
Yeah.
Like whenever we're like, oh yeah, I deleted that. It's like, no, you didn't. I could go back and find it. There's even a video, there's a Vsauce video that talks about this woman who was a photographer. She took these photographs, had them on her computer. They were priceless. She was super proud of them. Hard drive crashed. And like it like got busted or something, and they were like, you'll never recover it.
Yeah.
And she went to like 5 or 6 different people, and they recovered as much as they could.
Yeah.
And they got most of the images back with some sort of like, sometimes there was digital interpolation and like stuff. And then there was another instance where she took pictures and then deleted them off her hard drive, and then they still recovered it. Like it was deleted, quote, because whenever you delete something on a hard drive, it just changed the ones and zeros to zeros. That's what blank space on a hard drive is. It's just a bunch of zeros in data.
Yeah.
In binary. And then they just, because the old hard drives, they're disks with lasers.
Yeah.
And magnets. And so it's just inscribing ones and zeros, but there's still burn-in from the last ones and zeros.
Yeah.
That's why hard drives wear out after a long time. Because if you've been writing and rewriting, those ones and zeros get burnt in, and then the computer has to like really think about what's actually existing on the hard drive.
Yeah.
Because the other things are still technically there. It's one of those things that once it's been brought into existence, it doesn't necessarily like leave. Like you can't destroy matter, even though it's data. It's
Entropy
not matter.
cannot be reversed.
Yeah, exactly. Memory isn't like lost. Like, even though we might not remember something, our brains have never forgotten a single instance of anything that's ever happened in our lives.
But especially the Alamo.
Oh, exactly. Especially the Alamo. So this should be titled "Remembering the Alamo."
And I mean, what can we do about it? I can't vote.
Yeah.
What can we do about
My
it?
brain was like super transition there. I was like, what can we do about it? We just like clear our hard drives better, I guess. I can vote. I can speak up.
Yell at a representative to do his job.
I guess, yeah, but most of the representatives that I know don't do their job. So, but elect people who are going to represent your ideologies.
Now, don't worry. Our representatives will not listen to this.
No. Who knows?
I don't think they're listening to anything.
I don't think they're listening to anything at all. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. We could probably give them a flash drive with this on it.
Yeah. And they still wouldn't listen to it.
Probably wouldn't know what it was.
We could put it on their desktop.
Like their physical desktop or their like computer desktop? Oh, both. That's a good point.
They probably still won't.
Probably don't know how to click on it.
They have assistants for that.
Yeah. Hey, go type a letter on the magic typewriter.
Yeah.
That has the colors.
I mean, there are some representatives that
there's some great representatives
that that in their representative picture are wearing cowboy hats.
There are. I know one of them.
So
I grew up with one of them.
Yeah.
And man, what a... I'm gonna stop.
But I think that I guess sort of like going back to like the community thing that you were talking about in the last podcast, that like I do think that there has to be this connect between what people say they believe and what they are actually doing in their lives to make that happen.
Right, yeah. There's a huge There's a connection that has to be made there that sometimes isn't made, and then
Yeah.
it's just like, what are you doing?
And then there's other times where that connection is made and it really shouldn't be.
Yeah. And you're just like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So I mean, like, at least with privacy, I don't know if there's anything in Christianity that like kind of talks about privacy itself, but like it
Not that I know
also
of.
says like in the Constitution that we have a right to privacy. And so there's no reason
That
to
these things should be
not
happening.
allow privacy.
Right. But, I mean, it comes down to it, it's like, this is very politically charged, but this is just like, the Constitution, like, yeah, I'm for the Constitution. I'm all for it. It was, from my perspective, at least it was written well, but it feels like we've totally lost from that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, there's a right to privacy, but there's not there. Then there's also the argument that there's like the right to bear arms there. It's like, okay, now you have that right. You should keep that right.
Sure.
Because it's the Constitution. I'm for the Constitution. I'm about it. It would seem to be written equally on both sides.
Yeah.
Partly because you had a bunch of people who were like, guys, we have to start a nation.
Yeah. Well,
There has to be compromise here. And they were just like looking up for the future of people. So, but that's entirely a different topic.
but I mean,
Or we could just go live in rings and be in Halo.
that's fine. I love Halo.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Minus the whole Covenant thing.
Well, sure. I mean, they're fine. They
Or
have-
at least the flood thing. Minus
Yeah,
the
well-
flood.
well, you can't do anything about the flood. Like they
Yeah.
tried. They cannot do anything about the flood.
That's true. Man, that's a good game. Halo 3 was a good game.
Yeah.
I wish I do have an Xbox.
Yeah.
I need to play that again.
Yeah.
I probably won't. I quit playing video games a while ago just because like I loved playing video games, but I loved playing video games with friends. I couldn't just
Yeah.
sit down and play a video game. I had to like have some sort of like camaraderie aspect to it.
Well, it's people like you that ruin video games for everyone else who liked just playing video games.
I know.
Well, no, it's because it like now video games like can't not be social.
Yeah, it's all
Now it's just
multiplayer.
like, all right, well, we're going to release a whole game that just has to, like, you don't even play by yourself. You can't.
Destiny.
Yeah. But I mean, like, my favorite games are the ones that, like, here's kind of like music. Like, music doesn't have to be social. Like, you just, and a lot of times it's antisocial.
Right.
Like, I want to sit here alone with these emotions and absorb this stuff coming at me.
Yeah, it's
And
like,
just because someone put a lot of work into it and I want to appreciate it.
it's like people being themselves
Yeah.
in that sense. But and I'm even okay like so like, one of my favorite games was you have it up on your screen, but BioShock Infinite. That was
Yes.
one of my favorite games.
Yes.
Along with and I played all that by myself, along with The Last of Us. That was a good game. And I enjoyed Fallout.
Yeah.
Fallout 4 and Fallout 3. Those were all my favorite games. Like,
Yeah.
I enjoyed Halo 3, but it wasn't my favorite game.
Sure.
But looking at it now, like I get what you mean. Like I never thought about that. Like like the people who loved the multiplayer part are the ones who ruined it for all the single players.
Yeah.
Just because the multiplayer market was much more profitable than
Yeah.
the single player stuff. So
Yeah,
That being-
and that's why studios like Irrational, who made BioShock Infinite, they didn't like shut down. They just like laid off most of their
yeah,
employees and just is a
downsides.
tiny group of people that make good games, which is good. I can't wait for whatever it is that they're making next, but like it surely won't be in quite the scope that BioShock Infinite was.
Yeah. It was a beautiful game. I played it on PC, and I like the PC that I had like could max out the graphics. So I
Nice.
just like so fun. Because then I connected an Xbox controller to it. So I got to play it like an Xbox
Yeah.
game. I didn't have to use a keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
But
I do have one last question, I guess,
Okay.
which is sort of relevant to kind of what we ended up here. But as opposed to what advice do you have for people in the last podcast, I usually ask, what is it that you are listening to or watching or consuming that you want other people to know about?
So on the way here, I was listening to Group Love.
Nice.
I was listening to their live album. It was like a bunch of songs from their one of their albums. I don't listen to them a whole lot,
Yeah.
but that's what I've been enjoying for the past like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Been listening to that, just kind of like hearing their style of music. But it's summer, so my music taste is changing. I haven't quite made it to like my summer music yet, but I'm because my brain is still like I like the like winter and like spring music. Just because like I'm a winter person. I like cold weather. I burn. I'm a redhead, so I don't burn. I crisp.
Yeah.
Essentially. Totally off topic. And listening to that, and I haven't been watching a whole lot. I've been watching some It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is like an anti-sitcom,
Yeah.
which is really interesting.
It's garbage. It's lovely.
Yeah, it's kind of like, this is horrible, but it's also funny at the same time. So I've been watching some of that. Then I always give a shout out to John Mulaney. He's my favorite stand-up comedian.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't ever heard of him, give him a listen. He's fantastic. He'll make you laugh your socks off.
Yeah.
Just because he's great. Other than that, yeah.
Yeah. He's also been on a number of podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're already listening to podcasts, you might as well look at other podcasts.
Oh, yeah. I think he was on This American Life at one point.
I haven't seen that one or heard that one, but
I might
he's
be
been
wrong.
on Pete Holmes.
He has been
quite a
on
bit.
Pete Holmes.
You Made It Weird. Is his podcast. And then just like watch his comedy specials.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. YouTube, Netflix. He's got 2 specials on Netflix.
Yeah. Oh,
They're
yeah.
hilarious.
I've been listening to Everything.
Okay.
And Clipping.
Yeah, yeah.
Clipping was here for Metro Music Fest.
Mm-hmm.
And I had heard like one song from Clipping. They were on Song Exploder, which is, I would recommend that podcast
I
too.
have listened to Song Exploder.
But Clipping was on Song Exploder, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember they were on Song Exploder.
Mm-hmm.
And then they played at Metro, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Why am I not listening to this right now?
Yeah.
That
joke has been in my head
still
ever since
nice.
that. Anytime somebody says that, I finish it with a second right now.
Thank you. Actually, I'm honored by your referencing my music and turning it into a meme.
It's not just like a meme. It's just like kind of like a joke in my own head, just because of mixing that song. It was just constant. Right now, ow, right now. I want to be right now.
Yeah. Thank you, Stuart.
No problem. I enjoyed it. It was good.
Where can we find your stuff?
Find it on Instagram, Stu_Adams_. I think on the last podcast I said it wrong, but it's Stu_Adams_.
No, I think you said it right last time.
Okay. Then I have my website, stuartadams.productions, STUARTADAMS.productions. You can check out some of my work. You can check out what I do. So I have some things on YouTube as well. And they're just like short videos. There's nothing like super special there. It's just
Yeah.
kind of little creations that I make every once in a while. But other than that, that's
Cool.
it. That's me.
Awesome. Um, I am Santiago Ramones. You can find all of the things that I do on my website, santiagoramones.com. You will find this podcast and my music. I will eventually, at some point, be releasing an EP that Stuart worked on for class.
Yep.
Waving on an audio podcast.
Yeah, I've been like making facial expressions and like pointing and
Yeah.
all these different things, and I have to remind myself they can't see me.
Yes.
So that's a problem.
But yeah, I end every podcast with my three things, which are love never fails, it's going to be okay, I might be wrong.